People tell you to learn from your mistakes. But what if some of the things you call mistakes were never mistakes? What if they were observations? What if you weren't failing? What if you were gathering information? Because the older I get, the more I realize that some of the experiences I regret the most became the lessons that changed my life. We call it a mistake because it hurts. Most people judge their experiences by the amount of pain they felt. If it hurts, it must have been a mistake. If it cost money, it must have been a mistake. If it ended badly, it must have been a mistake. But life doesn't work that way. Pain doesn't automatically mean failure. Sometimes, pain is simply information arriving. A child learns through observation. Think about a child. A child touches something hot. The child gets burned. Was touching it a success? No. Was it useless? Also no. The child learned something. The pain delivered information. Life never stopped teaching us that way. The lessons just became more expensive. The people you trusted. Maybe you trusted the wrong person. Today, you call it a mistake. But what if it was an observation? You observed how people behave when they gain access to your life. You observe red flags. You observe manipulation. You observe your own lack of boundaries. The relationship ended. The observation remained. Trauma makes observation feels like failure. This is where trauma confuses people. Trauma doesn't just create pain. Trauma changes interpretation. Instead of saying, I learned something, you say, I failed. Instead of saying, I discovered something, you say, I ruined everything. Trauma turns lessons into shame, and shame stops growth. My biggest lesson. I remembered looking at some certain moments in my life and feeling embarrassed. I thought, how did I not see that? But when I realized something I couldn't see then, what I can see now. The observation happened first. The understanding came later. wisdom is often delayed. You were collecting data. Imagine trying to build a map. You can't create a map without exploring. And exploration means wrong turns. Wrong turns are not evidence of failure. They are evidence of movement. Many people want wisdom without experience. Life doesn't work like that. Experience is the tuition fee. Wisdom is the certificate. Survival strategies. For years, I thought some behaviors were strength. Being alone, doing everything myself, never asking for help, never depending on anyone. I admired those traits. Then one day I observed something. That wasn't strength, it was survival. The observation changed everything. The difference between failure and observation. Failure says, I am not good enough. Observation says, interesting. That's what happened. Failure attacks identity. Observation creates awareness. One keeps you trapped. The other makes you wiser. Stop hating your past. Many people are fighting their past. They are angry at the younger version of themselves. But that younger version was operating with less information. They weren't stupid. They were learning. They weren't weak. They were discovering. They weren't failing. They were observing. The real purpose of pain. Pain isn't always punishment. Sometimes pain is education. Not all suffering teaches, but all growth requires observation. The people who heal are not the people who avoid pain. They are the people who become curious about it. They ask, what did this experience reveal? What did it teach me about people? What did it teach me about myself? Today, I look back differently. Some of the things I called mistake were actually observation. I wasn't losing. I was learning. I wasn't broken. I was collecting information. And the moment I stopped judging every painful experience as failure, I started turning my experiences into wisdom. So ask yourself, What if the things you've been calling a mistake was actually a lesson waiting to be understood?